Good morning, guys. It's Vic Seezzo once again, and today, guys, I have an update from the Shura Council on a meeting that was held on Monday, 22nd February 2021. So, when I talk about the Shura Council, you know it's all about changing of jobs in Qatar. It's about jobs in Qatar and everything to do with employees and employers in Qatar. So, guys, it may be bad news, or it may be good news, or it may be news that favors one party or the other, and it depends on you on how you're gonna take it. But according to the Shura Council, people will no longer be allowed to change jobs in Qatar more than 3 times, unless your employer allows you. Which employer do I mean? The third employer, like your last employer. So if you have changed your sponsor once, twice, the third time is the last time. So if you want to move to the 4th sponsor, it means you need a permission from your 3rd sponsor to go to the 4th sponsor. They passed this law because they want employees to take their job seriously. They have realized that there are some employees who stay in a company for a certain period of time. They have just changed to another company like that. And to stop that and make people get serious in their jobs, they said you cannot change sponsors more than 3 times while you are staying in Qatar, unless and otherwise your 3rd sponsor allows you to go to the 4th sponsor. That may be a good news to some people, but it's a good news for companies. But it's not a good news for all employees. There are those employees who enjoy working in their company, so it has no problem for you guys. And for those who have been jumping from one company to the other, then you have a problem. Let's continue. Number 2, they talked about employees who can move from one company to the other. So right now, people have really moved from one company to the other as the law was passed. The new law without NOC was passed. But now they have set up a standard limit of employees who can move from one company to the other. So it's 15%. More than 15% of the staff cannot leave working in a certain company and move to other companies. This is to help the small companies. We have small companies that don't have really a huge number of employees. Once 2 or 3 or 4 employees move from that company, they end up leaving that company without manpower, and maybe the company can be shut down. There are so many companies that have closed due to lack of workforce or employees. So to stop that, they had to put a standard limit of 15% of the employees can only transfer to other jobs from one company. There's a major blowback to some people, but it's also good considering that you cannot move from your current company, all of you, and leave the company without employees. That doesn't make sense, guys. So for me, in that part, I concur with them. And let's move to the next step. No change of jobs in government or quasi-government until the end of contract, or until your contract expires, or unless your sponsor gives you permission to go to the next company. So there are those people who are working in the government sector or in semi-government sector. So you will not be allowed to move freely to other companies until your contract expires, or unless you are given permission from your sponsor. So take note of that. And another thing is compensation of employer for the visa. So if you are moving from one company to the other, your new company has to compensate your former or your current employer for the visa. You know, guys, as I told you, when this law without NOC was passed, there are so many things that they are not tackled, or so many problems that arise in between. As people are moving, they move to other companies. Maybe you had only worked for the company 6 months, 10 months, and you move to another company without even compensating for their visa. So that was a major blowback for the companies, and of course the Shura Council had to look at that. So from today henceforth, from on Monday, which was on 22nd, any movement that shall be done by employees to other companies, they have to compensate for the visa or for the remaining period of the visa. Another thing is check company financial legal status. Before you join any company, the government will be checking on the legal status, that's the financial legal status of that company before they allow employees to join that new company. Legal status means how they are getting their money, and of course their financial, if it is straight or it has some bendings there. Another thing, which is number 6, is transfer requests. For those guys whose transfer requests have been rejected from the Ministry of Labor or ADLSA, and when you want to go back to your employer is not willing to allow you to continue working with them, then the government is gonna look at procedures. Actually, they are gonna set a committee that has one person from the Ministry of Interior, one person from the Ministry of Labor, and etc., just for looking on matters to deal with if you have been rejected by your current employer because you wanted to change your job, and ADLSA has rejected your change of employer. You will not be hanging. So they have created a committee that will be dealing with those cases. Either you will be helped to get another sponsor, or they will organize your flight tickets and they will inform your employer, your current employer, like a 3 days notice through Metrash that you'll be exiting the country. So that's another one. Let's go to number 7. No change of employer allowed depending on the contract not exceeding 2 years. So there's another thing. If you've signed a contract for 2 years, you will be finishing your contract. That's exactly what they are trying to say. So if you agree to stay in to sign a contract with your employer for 2 years, you will have to finish before you move to another company, unless and otherwise your employer allows you. But it doesn't have like a big limit. It's like before, the limit is 2 years. So you can sign a contract to work with your employer maybe 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years, but not more than 2 years. It doesn't exceed 2 years. So, and on that time you are on the contract, you have no permission, or you cannot change employers. You cannot request to change employer during your contract. That's what has been said, man. Unless your employer allows you, but you are not allowed to request for change of employer during your contract period because you signed the contract. I know that one is gonna hurt so many people, but it is what it is. We have to share this news so that guys you get updated about this. Another one is exit permit limited to increased to 10%. Or actually, remember before, which was last year, on January 18th, I guess, when exit permits were removed, like people are allowed to go to their country without exit permit unless they were working for the agricultural sector and some like police departments or government sectors. So now, that was like they limited a percentage, which was 5%, but now they are increasing these limited exit permits to 10%. What does that mean? So if before it was only the fishing, the agricultural sector, the police department, and people working in the military were limited to exit with an exit permit, now they're going to increase and include more sectors. Like they are going to add the number of people who need exit permit to exit Qatar. So guys, I hope that doesn't find most of us. We just need to be exiting freely and coming back freely. Another one is, which actually I should have started with, there is resignation For those guys who are resigning, you need to give a resignation letter that has a stamp and a signature. You also need a clearance form. This to apply on ADLSA. You need a clearance form, you need a computer card number of the new company that you are going to, and the employer name plus the offer letter. Those are most important things I should have started with for those who are changing jobs in Qatar. Guys, I don't have much to say. That's the most important news today, to update you on what's going on. And to show some love, just subscribe, share our content. We are growing, guys, and let's keep growing. Until next time, bye bye, peace out.